Hello, my beautiful gratitude babes. Welcome back to the Gratitude is Yummy podcast. We are a day late on this post because I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I'm feeling a little bit run down and I wasn't feeling too well to record yesterday. So this week's episode will be going up today on Monday instead of Sundays. Forgive me. I hope that's okay. But yeah, I'm just so grateful to have you here with me listening. Whenever you find this message, thank you for being here. In our last episode, I talked all about the life changing magic of gratitude, the power of gratitude. We talked about what gratitude actually does to us emotionally. We talked about what it does to us mentally, energetically, and even physically, right? Surprisingly, we talked about the surprising physical effects gratitude can have on us when we do it consistently. We also went into why gratitude is the very first step of the amazing, powerful Gratitude is Yummy method. But gratitude is not the only step, okay? It's only step one. Because once we've activated that gratitude, once we've shifted our focus towards all the beautiful, yummy, great things in our lives. And once we've actually felt the appreciation for what is already existing for us, we do something with that energy. We don't just let it go to waste. We don't just do our gratitude and move on. We can, but we don't. We hijack the frequency. Yes, we hijack it. If you've been watching or doing the Come Sit in Gratitude with Me series at all, you already know exactly what I'm talking about here. We take the feeling we just created through gratitude and we immediately carry it into the reality we want to create. And we do that through scripting, through the power of scripting. So today we're talking all about the second step of the Gratitude is Yummy method. And that's one of my absolute favorite manifestation practices, and that's scripting. And I especially wanted to talk about scripting after our conversation about gratitude because for me, these two practices belong together. I scripted for years before creating the Gratitude is Yummy method. And sometimes, yeah, things did happen. Like I manifested my first dream home with scripting within like 90 days. So yes, it is very, very powerful by itself. But sometimes some things just didn't come to fruition. But when I started pairing scripting with intentional, activated gratitude, that changed the practice completely for me. So today I want to talk about why. I want to talk about what scripting actually is, the neuroscience behind why practices like scripting and mental rehearsal can be so powerful in manifestation. I want to dive into why simply writing down what you want isn't the same thing as scripting for conscious creation. We'll also get into how I personally use scripting inside the Gratitude is Yummy method, and of course, how you can start using it to write your own dream life into reality. Okay, so get cozy, my loves, and let's drop in together. All right, so first, let's talk about what scripting actually is. What is scripting? If you're brand new to this whole concept of conscious creation or manifestation, or well, intentional manifestation, or even just the law of attraction or law of assumption in general, scripting is essentially writing about the reality you want to live as though you're already experiencing it in the now. So you're not writing like, I hope, I hope this happens, or maybe one day I would like this to happen one day, or I really, really want this. Because what that does is it reinforces the fact that you don't have it yet, that it's not here now. So instead, when we script, we step into the experience of already having it, of already living in that reality. Think of it almost like you're writing a scene from the life you want to live in, except you're the main character, you're the writer, you're the director. So, and instead of like documenting what happened yesterday, you're writing from the perspective of the version of you, the character who's already living there today. So instead of, I really want to make more money, you might write, I am so grateful that money flows to me so easily now. I love waking up knowing there's always more than enough. My bills are always paid with ease. Everything is fully handled and I feel so incredibly free, right? That's present tense. That's you living in that reality now. Okay. And that's the difference. One is focused on the desire of it, the wanting of it, the not having of it. And the other allows you, even if only for a few minutes, to mentally and emotionally experience having it now. You're rehearsing being that version of you who has it. And that is where scripting gets really, 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 really yummy. This is why scripting is so fascinating to me, because there's actual neuroscience that can help us understand why practices like visualization and mental rehearsal can be so powerful. Your brain has this incredible ability called neuroplasticity. And I talk about that a lot in the journal, in the intro pages of the journal. But neuroplasticity basically means that your brain is capable of changing and adapting, or bending, if you will, based on what you repeatedly tell it, based on what you repeatedly experience, what you repeatedly think about, practice, or just plainly focus your attention on, right? The thoughts you repeatedly think, they really, really matter. The stories that you repeatedly tell yourself really, really matter. The things you repeatedly imagine extremely matter, because repetition is what strengthens patterns in your brain. Like Dr. Joe Dispenza always says, neurons that fire together wire together. Basically, the more frequently certain neural pathways are activated together, the stronger those connections will become. And that and this is part of why mental rehearsal has been studied in like every field, basically. Like it's deeply encouraged in sports and performance and skill development, because when we vividly imagine ourselves doing or experiencing something, the same neural systems that fire up when you're actually physically doing it also become active when you're imagining it. So basically, your brain doesn't know the difference between the things that you actually do and the things that you imagine. So when you mentally rehearse something over and over and over again, you're giving your brain repeated exposure to that idea, or that experience, to whatever that behavior may be, or the version, the entire new life you want to create. And that matters, because think about what most of us are usually rehearsing mentally, like all the time, right? We're usually thinking about um all these things without even realizing it, the things that we're feeding our brain every single day. We imagine conversations usually going badly. We imagine not having enough money for things. We imagine getting rejected all the time. We imagine failing. We constantly replay the things that go wrong in our days. We're always, and then we're always predicting what's going to go wrong tomorrow, what's going to go wrong next week, what could go wrong in a year, right? We create entire imaginary scenarios, and then our bodies start responding emotionally to something that isn't even physically happening yet. So, when you have instances where your heart starts racing because you're anxious about something in the future, your stomach drops because you're scared of what's going to go wrong in a situation, you become so anxious. Your mood changes. Nothing has actually happened in real life yet, but the experience you're creating mentally is still affecting you. And that's because of neuroplasticity. So think about it. If our minds are capable of rehearsing fear that vividly, why wouldn't we intentionally practice rehearsing possibility? Why wouldn't we intentionally practice rehearsing things always going our way? Right? That's one of the things we're doing through scripting and the Gratitude is Yummy method and the journal, and why I love it so much. Because instead of unconsciously rehearsing the reality we're afraid of, we're consciously rehearsing the reality we actually want. And with that kind of repetition, where you do it daily, we're practicing different thoughts, we're practicing different expectations, we're practicing different emotional responses and different ways of seeing ourselves. Over time, something that initially may feel completely foreign to you is going to start to feel so familiar that even when it does show up physically, you won't be surprised or shocked by it, because you've been rehearsing it mentally, that your brain, your system, your entire nervous system is used to it now, right? And that's really important, because your beliefs are what influence the way you behave, and they influence what you note, the things you notice in your life. They influence the opportunities you recognize and experience. They influence the risks you're willing to take. They influence the decisions you make. They influence what you believe you're capable of receiving. Okay, so maybe you've spent 20 years thinking, oh my God, money is just so hard to make, right? Money doesn't grow on trees, right? Nothing ever works out for me. People like me just don't get to be wealthy, right? you've rehearsed this story thousands and thousands and thousands of times for however many years. And then you just go straight into scripting for abundance. Maybe you do it once or twice, but then nothing happens, and you're wondering like, oh my God, why isn't this happening so quickly? Like everybody says it should, right? But babe, you're working against years of rehearsal here. Okay, you're working against neural pathways that have been dug into, like literally laminated into your nervous system. So it's going to take time to carve out new pathways. Okay, that's why repetition is so, so powerful. I had someone who purchased the digital version of the Gratitude is Yummy journal, and she reached out and was just like, "Oh my God, I feel duped. Every page is the same. It's not a different prompt every day." And I had to explain to her like, there's a reason for that. The repetition is literally the magic of this method. I mean, the process itself, absolutely, but the repetition is really what drives it home. You're intentionally giving your mind a new story to practice every single day. Okay, and the more familiar that story becomes to you, the easier it becomes for you to think like your new story, for you to feel like your new story, for you to behave in ways that are consistent with your new story. Okay, that is why we do the same thing every day in the Gratitude is Yummy journal. Obviously, you're doing different gratitudes, but your manifestation script, I encourage you to keep it the same until that story becomes lived in. Okay? And what we're doing is we're taking it into the energetic side of manifestation, because when your beliefs begin changing, your expectations are going to change as well. Absolutely. Like you are going to change on the cellular level. You're going to think differently. Your emotional state is going to change when you're rehearsing this story every single day in your Gratitude is Yummy journal. Your emotional state is going to change. The way you respond to things is going to change, even if you don't realize it. Right? Your behavior is going to change. The way you show up changes. And energetically, of course, your frequency is going to change. I have, in the last few months of quitting my 9 to 5 and following my dream of really just living this method, really just living this new new pathway that the universe, I truly believe, is guiding me down towards. It's been scary AF, but let me tell you something. If I didn't have my Gratitude is Yummy practice to be rehearsing this new story every single day, I would literally be in panic mode every day of my life. I would not be as well adjusted as I am right now. I would not be receiving all the abundance that I've been receiving. I'm scripting every single day that I receive money without working. And for the last week and a half, I I, I haven't counted it all together, but I've received close to $3,000 without working. Without working. Okay? Because when you do this, you're no longer approaching your desire solely from this distant place that you desperately need it. For the last few months, I've been scripting and rehearsing this new story. So now my reaction to my reality is different. Even when things go wrong, I no longer panic. I don't spiral. I am in this new frequency. Okay? Because of this mental rehearsal that I'm doing every day. I'm practicing being the version of myself who this reality is normal to. Okay? And because it starts to feel possible once you start rehearsing every day, eventually it starts to feel normal as well. Now, when money shows up, I received $700 last night and I didn't drive Uber. I spent Saturday in beautiful Mystic, Connecticut, enjoying the entire beautiful day on the water. It's, I'm literally living my dream. I'm literally living my dream. And honestly, when that money came in, it was just like, of course. Now it's like, duh, of course, of course, of course. Yeah, my bank account needs it. I need that money. But when it arrived, there was nothing in me that was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, no, because I am in this state now where stuff like this is normal because I've been rehearsing it every single day for months in my journal. And now it really literally feels normal. It was just like, yeah, duh. Now I expect the universe to send me money without me doing anything for it. So yeah, scripting isn't simply just writing a pretty story in a notebook. You're quite literally rehearsing your desired reality. You're teaching your mind a new possibility. You're strengthening a new story. And through the repetition that we do in the GIY journal, you're giving that story an opportunity to become increasingly familiar, increasingly real. Okay? And then we add the energetic component because we're not only thinking differently, we're beginning to feel differently as well. And that's where scripting for manifestation becomes really, really, really powerful. And here's the thing I want you guys to understand. I knew about scripting for years, like I said, because I've been a manifestation coach throughout the years. I did all the things. I did the present tense, the details, the emotion, the writing like it's already happened. I did all of that, right? And sometimes it worked, like I said. But the thing was, it wasn't consistent, even sometimes for the smallest things. And sometimes, if I'm being completely transparent, it felt like I was just sitting there writing a beautiful story about something I knew I wasn't going to get because it was like scripting wasn't a reliable means of manifestation because if it works for some things and it doesn't for other things, then you start losing confidence in it, right? And maybe that's where that you start scripting from that vibration, right? And that screws up the whole process, right? My words would say like, yeah, I'm so grateful I have blah. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm living this life. But somewhere underneath my energy was still screaming, no, Jules, you don't. Because where is it? It's not here. And when you script for that thing last week or 2 months ago, it didn't happen. So why would this happen? Right? And that matters because you can write I'm wealthy 50 million times, but if you're feeling terrified about money, it's moot, right? You can write about your beautiful relationship, but if you're thinking, yeah, right, where is he or where is she? You can script about your successful business if you're checking your sales every 7 minutes and it's not where you want it to be, it's moot. The words aren't magic themselves. The state you're practicing while writing them is what matters. Okay. And that realization eventually became part of the foundation of the Gratitude is Yummy method. Because instead of trying to force myself to feel grateful for something I couldn't physically see yet, I started with something so much simpler. I became genuinely grateful first. I changed the frequency I was scripting from. Okay, for I started scripting from the frequency of already having because that was easy. Things that already feel real are easy to feel grateful for because they already exist. You're not reaching for something that's out of your realm of existence. Things my mind didn't have to argue with these things that I'm feeling grateful for, right? I could appreciate these things right now. My mind will absolutely accept it because they're real. They exist. Okay. And then after I activated that really genuine feeling of gratitude, that's where I scripted from. Well, I was already in that feeling of gratefulness, then I scripted, and that changed the entire practice for me. Okay, that is why the order of the Gratitude is Yummy method matters. We don't open the journal and immediately just start trying to convince ourselves that we're millionaires or billionaires, right? We begin with what we already have, the three gratitudes, and importantly, the reason why we're grateful, because we're doing activated gratitude here. Okay, because we're not trying to just create a mundane list, a random list. We're trying to activate the actual feeling of gratitude, the actual frequency of it, right? So I write, I'm so grateful for this beautiful morning because the sunlight coming through my window makes everything feel peaceful and new. Okay. Or I'm so grateful my children are healthy because hearing them laughing in their rooms reminds me how incredibly blessed my life is. Okay. Or it could be something really, really tiny, like I'm so grateful for my warm lemon water today because it tastes so refreshing this morning. It doesn't have to be this profound thing. It just has to be true. It just has to be real. That's the important part. Okay. Because now I'm not pretending to feel grateful. I'm actually feeling grateful. I can feel it. Okay. And we don't just do our gratitude and just move on. I mean, again, we can, but gratitude alone is incredibly powerful. Yes. And we talked about all of that in the previous episode. But in the Gratitude is Yummy method, we take it one step further. We hijack the frequency. I know you've heard me say this many times if you watch the Come Sit With Me series. And I call it hijacking the frequency because before that feeling has a chance to fade away or dissipate, we grab it. We take that emotional energy we just activated and immediately redirect it towards the reality we want to create. Okay? It's basically like, ooh, I've got this frequency turned on now. Let's use it. Let's take advantage of it. That's the hijack, right? Because instead of sitting down cold and trying to force ourselves to feel abundant about $1 million or $1 billion or whatever it is we don't have yet, or maybe deeply loved in a relationship that hasn't shown up yet, we're starting with the feeling our mind and body already recognize as real. And then we carry that same feeling straight into our scripting, into that dream $1 million life, into that dream relationship, right? I don't close my journal. I don't pick up my phone. I don't go check social media. I don't give myself 15 minutes to start worrying about my life again. I go immediately into scripting. This is so important. I take the emotional state I just activated around the things that are real, that already exist, and I carry it directly into something I'm creating. Okay, we activate the frequency of gratitude. We hijack it to script our dreams. That is the power of the Gratitude is Yummy method. And this is why I like to think about it as anchors. Gratitude anchors you into this feeling of, I already have the frequency of having. I already have good things. I already have beautiful things. My life is already supported and abundant. There's already something here to appreciate, right? And then scripting asks, okay, we have all this amazing stuff in our lives. What else gets to be true for us? It's almost like, hey, universe, thank you for all these amazing things in my life, but I want you to show me how good it can get, how much better it can become. Okay, so we're building this beautiful bridge. Gratitude is on perhaps one end of the bridge where we're starting, and your desired reality is on the other end. And scripting is really the walk, right? Scripting lets us walk that feeling across that bridge. That's why I don't personally like scripting cold. If I'm sitting there thinking, I need this money, I need this relationship, I need this opportunity, please let this happen, then for me, that's usually a sign that I need to come back to gratitude first. Because scripting isn't begging. It isn't pleading with the universe. It isn't writing something 47 times because you're terrified it won't happen if you don't. Scripting, at least the way we use it in the Gratitude is Yummy method, is an opportunity to experience your desire before you can physically touch it. But you're not experiencing it by trying to force yourself to believe you have it. You're experiencing it by putting yourself in the frequency of having, period. Okay, and that's it. You're putting yourself on the frequency of purely having. Okay, not something specific, just that frequency, that feeling, that vibration of being abundant, of having, of being able to receive beautiful things. Okay, so if you want to make scripting really, really effective for you, this is always where you should start. Because before you script anything first, it's important that you write your 3 gratitudes. And again, never, ever, ever forget to include a reason why. We're not just gonna write, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful for my dog, I'm grateful for my cats. Those are wonderful things to appreciate. But tell yourself why. Why is that important? Why does having whatever it is, why does having your home make a difference in your life? Why do your kids being happy, what does it feel like for you? Okay, tell yourself why. Ask yourself why. Why does it matter that you have a roof over your head? Why does it matter that you have a car that gets you to work? Why do these things matter? What specifically about that thing are you appreciating today? How does it make you feel? Right? I'm so grateful for the way the sunlight pours into my kitchen every morning because it makes my home feel so warm and peaceful, and I love starting my day there. Feel that difference? See? Because you're no longer just naming something, you're activating the emotion attached to it, and that's what makes the difference. Okay? So after that gratitude practice comes the very, very fun part. This is where we write our dream life. And the first thing I want you to remember here is to always write from the reality, okay? Not toward the reality. What I mean by that is instead of, I hope my business becomes successful, I want my business to do this one day. But we're not going to approach it from, we're moving toward this dream. It's more like we're there, okay? So it's, I am so grateful my business is thriving. Feel that difference? So instead of, I want to meet my amazing partner, right? I love how safe and cherished and adored I feel in my relationship. You see that? There's a difference there, right? One is writing toward the reality. This is what I want to happen versus this is what's happening for me now because you are that person now, because you're experiencing it now. Okay? Instead of, I hope to travel more, right? I cannot believe I'm waking up in Santorini right now. I just opened the doors to our villa and the Aegean Sea is literally sparkling right outside. I say Aegean. I'm African. That's the way we say it. I know a lot of people say Aegean, Aegean Sea, Aegean, right? You're there, you're experiencing it, you're writing from inside the scene you're in now, not toward it. Okay. Now, the other thing is, I want you to get detailed here. This is where you let your imagination run wild. Write down exactly what your dream life feels like, what it looks like. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? What's happening around you? What are people saying to you? What are you saying to them? Let's say you're scripting about your dream vacation. So instead of, yeah, I finally went to Paris, you're going to get more detailed. I cannot believe I'm sitting at this beautiful tiny cafe in Paris right now. I'm sipping the best cappuccino of my life. I can smell the fresh baguette from the bakery next door. People are walking past speaking French, and I can see the Eiffel Tower in the distance. I keep looking around thinking, oh my God, I'm actually here. Yay! Right? Now you're in it. Now you can see it, you can smell it, perhaps even taste it, you can hear it, you can experience it. That's what the detail is for. Not because the universe needs you to be so, perfectly specific on your purchase order, okay? No, the details are for you. The details help you mentally rehearse the experience, mentally get into it. Okay. Now, the other thing is it's important that you add the emotion. I mentioned, how do you feel? Don't just write what's happening, include how it feels. Okay. Because emotion is what makes scripting come alive. If you're scripting about your dream career, don't just write, I got my dream job. Yay. It's so great. Oh my God. I'm making all this money. Yes, but get detailed about how you feel to have your dream job, how it feels to make the amount of money you do. I am so happy and grateful now that I have this incredible opportunity. I feel so proud of myself every time I walk into my beautiful office. I love the people I work with. I feel valued and respected here. I'm making incredible money doing work I genuinely enjoy, and I still can't believe I get to call this my life. Feel that difference? Now you're not just describing a circumstance or a story, we're describing the experience of you, right? Of you being the character in that circumstance. Okay? So ask yourself, why do I actually want this? Because you probably don't want just the money, you want the freedom the money brings. You don't only want the relationship. You want to feel something. You want to feel cherished. You want to feel safe. You want to feel desired, supported. You want to feel loved, right? You don't only want the house. You want to feel peace. You want to feel the peace that comes with waking up somewhere that feels completely yours, right? You don't only want a successful business. You want the purpose that comes with having a fulfilling business. You want to be able to get paid to create, right? The creativity, the impact, the abundance, the autonomy, right? That's the yummy part of this process. Put all of that in your script. Okay. But also script the ordinary parts. This is what a lot of people forget. Okay. Don't only script the huge cinematic moments in your story, script what life is like on an ordinary Tuesday. That's something I especially love doing because your dream life isn't going to feel like a movie 24 hours a day. Eventually, it's just going to be your life. So, what does your normal morning look like? What are you waking up to? How do you feel when you check your bank account? What do you wear? Who do you talk to? Okay? What are your relationships like? What do your kids say to you in the morning? How do you spend your afternoons? What problems don't consume your life anymore? Okay? What has become so normal that the old version of you would literally be like, what the heck? I love scripting those moments because they help you explore the identity of the person living that life. Like literally, like it becomes real. Okay, because not every day is going to be all these huge manifestations coming into fruition. Some days it's just going to be a peaceful, slow day. Many days are going to be like that. More of your days are just going to be how you live the life versus the things you receive, versus you actually receiving the life, right? You're not just, it's not just about what you become, it's who you are, who you are. And who you are is just, it's the ordinary moments, right? As much as the big moments matter because they show us that the manifestation has arrived, that we have received, right? The ordinary moments are what show you that you are real in it. You're really in it, that you're living that life. Okay, now let's make this practical because I want you to start doing this in a few areas, like starting, of course, with money, because we've been having a lot of conversation around money, and I know money is just so easy for everyone to relate to. So here's an example of what you might write. I am so happy and grateful now that I always have more than enough money. Everything is handled. My bills are paid easily. They're always paid in full and always paid on time. Money comes to me through expected and unexpected channels, and I feel so safe receiving it. I love looking at my accounts and seeing how much is available to me every single day. I feel free. I feel supported. I feel abundant. I can buy what I need every day. I can enjoy what I want whenever I want it. I can give generously to my friends and family and those in need. I get to save. I get to invest. I get to travel, and I get to live beautifully. And there is always more on the way. Notice we're not simply writing, I have $10 million in my bank account. We're exploring, what does abundance actually feel like when you live in it, when I'm living in it? Okay, and that's just a short example, but maybe you're scripting for love. You can write, I am so happy and grateful now that I am in this beautiful relationship. I feel so cherished and intentionally loved and cared for. I love the way he reaches for my hand when we're walking. I love our random kisses in the kitchen. I love that he plans beautiful dates for us, that I never have to question how he feels about me. I feel safe being soft with him. I feel pursued. I feel adored. I feel completely myself. Again, you're inside the relationship. You're not writing towards it. Okay? You're not sitting outside of it wishing someone would arrive. You're participating in it. You're practicing the experience of being loved that way. Okay? Or maybe you're scripting maybe just a general, bigger overall picture of the life you want to create, of the dream life. You might write, I am so happy and grateful now that I am living my dream life. I cannot believe this is my life. I wake up slowly every single morning. I don't need an alarm. There's always something beautiful happening in my morning. There's nowhere I ever have to rush to. My work feels creative and purposeful, and money flows so easily that I have complete freedom over my time, over my days. I travel whenever I want. I spend beautiful present time with the people I love the most. My home feels peaceful and warm and light and abundant. My body always feels relaxed and is in perfect health. I genuinely love waking up every morning because my life feels like mine. Okay? And your version may look completely different. That's the whole point here. This isn't about scripting the life Instagram told you you're supposed to want or have. It's about discovering what yummy really means to you, what yummy feels like for you. Okay? Now, there's something I've learned over the years that I think is really, really important, specifically when it comes to scripting. Specificity is so beautiful, yes, but trying to control exactly how everything has to happen is going to take the fun out of this practice. Okay? So there's a difference between this is what I want, this is what I want the universe to deliver, versus I desire this to arrive this way, through these means, through this person, on this date, using this specific sequence of events. And if it doesn't happen this way, then something's wrong. Okay? Okay. And I want to talk about this because, excuse me, because so many of us ask for big things, And then when our life starts taking a different turn, we start to panic. Okay. I want you to leave room for surprise. Leave room for life to happen. Leave room for God. Leave room for the universe to take you somewhere you couldn't have written because you didn't even know it existed yet. Okay? It's okay. Calm down. Breathe. If things start thwarting, if you feel like the opposite is happening, a recent Come Sit With Me episode, I think the last one I posted had to do with, maybe the last two ones, had to do with when things start going the opposite. Okay? It's not for you to panic. When you ask for a new life, be prepared for the old one to be maybe snatched away. Your script isn't a contract requiring reality to obey every sentence, and it's not a way for you to tell reality how it should unfold. Sometimes what's going to arrive is going to look, maybe it may look exactly like you wrote, but sometimes it's going to arrive differently. Sometimes, most oftentimes, if it arrives differently, it's arriving in a better, more optimal way. Okay? And sometimes your desire itself are going to evolve because guess what? You're evolving. When you evolve, your desires evolve because a lot of the things we think we want when we're in lack, we don't really want those things. We just want, we need those things, but it's not really the things we want. Okay. But as you evolve, as you change your frequency, you start realizing that you don't even want those things. You really don't. When you evolve, your desires are going to evolve. So let them. Okay. I just wanted to put that out there because I know a lot of people who start to panic. I'm one of them. We start to panic when things start going the opposite direction, or we start seeing evidence of our dream not happening. And we're just in constant panic mode, like, oh my God, it's not working. It's not working. Believe me, that's evidence of it working. That's one of the biggest signs that it is working. Okay. Now let's talk about something else that people often bypass, and that is consistency. Because I know firsthand that this part can get really, really boring. But repetition is part of what makes this practice so powerful. Remember, the neuroscience we talked about earlier has everything to do with constantly rehearsing your new story. We're intentionally returning our attention to it. No matter how boring it gets, keep going. Keep doing your gratitudes and your scripting every single day. We're making something that once felt so foreign to us feel increasingly familiar. How do you know when you're there? When you're living in it. When you're no longer questioning why it's not here. When you're no longer questioning or asking when it's going to arrive. Okay? When it no longer honestly matters to you. Because like I said, as you evolve, your desires are going to evolve. And you're going to find that the things you're maybe even scripting about, you don't even want them. You want different things now, or you want nothing now because you feel so content and so beautiful in your life. You don't even realize when it's happened. Okay? That's when you change your story. That's when you dream bigger. That's when your desires evolve and you allow them. Okay? So instead of getting the Gratitude is Yummy journal, starting the scripting journey, and then getting to day 90 and saying, "Oh my God, the things I've been scripting about for 90 days are not here yet." Get a new journal and continue to script. If you're still thinking it's not here yet, then you're not there yet, babe. You have to continue to rehearse this. That mental rehearsal every single day is so, so, so important here. That's one of the reasons I built scripting directly into this process, because every morning it's simply part of my practice now, gratitude scripting to feel. I don't have to wake up and wonder, what should I manifest today? No, it's built in. I wake up and I rehearse. I rehearse that reality. Okay? I don't want you turning consistency into fear, though. If you miss a day, you haven't ruined your manifestation. If you have a difficult morning, you haven't fallen out of alignment forever. Look, watch my series. You will see my emotional roller coaster. Okay? You just have to keep coming back to it. If you perhaps one day don't feel particularly high vibe, that's okay. You're allowed to still be human. Okay, this isn't about punishment. This isn't about superstition. This is a practice. It's a ritual. Okay? Think of it like a sport. The more you practice, the more you rehearse, the better you get at it. You just simply return, my love. You return and return and return always. And this practice will always, always, always be here. Whether you have it in digital form or you have the physical journal, it will always, always, always be here. Pick up your journal and write again and script again and gratitude again. Do it over every single day. As many days as you need to come back to, you do it. Okay? Now, another major thing I want you to take away from this episode is after you script, put your journal down. After you finish your practice, I should say, put your journal down and go live the beautiful life you just gave gratitude for. Okay? Please don't spend the next 12 hours checking to see whether the universe read your journal. You don't need to be sitting there like, all right, I scripted at 8:03 this morning. It's currently 11:47. Where is my husband? No, 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 no. In fact, when that happens, perhaps grab your journal again and do another practice. No, girl, go eat your lunch. No. Script it, feel it, enjoy it, close the journal, and go live the actual beautiful life you just gave gratitude for. Okay? Notice the opportunities, follow the inspired ideas, take action when action feels appropriate. Allow yourself to be surprised, right? And when your physical reality hasn't caught up yet, come back tomorrow and do it again. Start with what's already good. Activate that gratitude, hijack the frequency, script again and again and again and again and again, and keep living over and over and over again. That's all you have to do. That's the magic. This is how you change your life. Okay? All right? My loves, I want you all to try this. And if you've scripted before and thought, oh my God, well, I've done scripting, it doesn't really work, I especially want you to experiment with doing it in this order. Before you script anything you desire, write 3 things you're genuinely grateful for and include a reason why. Don't rush them. Find something really, really real, right? And feel that gratitude. And the moment you notice yourself settling into that appreciation, hijack that feeling immediately. Move immediately into your script, okay? Right from inside the reality you're creating. What do you see? What are you doing? What has changed? What has become normal for you? What are you thinking? Who are you being? And most importantly, how do you feel? And I don't want you to worry about making this perfect. Don't worry about sounding spiritual or nobody's grading your manifestation journal here, okay? You don't have to be like me who gets online and shares it every day with millions of people. Well, right now it's 55 subscribers, but yay. But you don't have to get online and share it with everybody, although I encourage you to, because it supercharges everything, and it has been doing it for me. So if I dare you, if you feel called, I want you to start sharing your practice with us. Let's all start sharing together and create an even bigger, yummier portal. But you don't have to do that. Nobody's going to be grading you. There's no right or wrong way to do this except for the sequence. Okay? We're not looking at you and saying, oh my God, you're grateful for the wrong things. No. Right? Whatever makes you smile, whatever makes you feel good, whatever activates those butterflies in your belly, write something that makes you sit there for a second, think, oh my God, imagine if this were really my life. Okay? That is what you're scripting. It's you. It's your life. It's your reality. Okay? We're not all here to experience the same dream. Okay? Remember what we're doing here. We're rehearsing the possibility. And the possibilities in this world are endless, which means your possibilities, what's possible for you is endless. What's possible for me are endless. All the possibilities for every single person is endless. We're giving our minds a new story every single day. We're becoming familiar with all the possibilities. And we're allowing ourselves to experience that feeling of that reality in the present moment. That's the magic we're creating. That's the magic of this channel, of this beautiful channel that I'm creating. That's the magic of sharing. And that, my loves, is step 2 of the Gratitude is Yummy method. First, we activate gratitude for all the beautiful things that already exist for us. Then we hijack the frequency and script the reality we're creating. But we don't finish there. After we script the life we desire, we don't just close the journal again and walk away. We do the whole practice. We seal it in. And that's where the next step of the GIY method comes in, the to feel activation. And that's what we're going to dive into the next episode, because if gratitude helps us activate the feeling and scripting gives us the feeling, gives us that feeling of the reality we're living inside, that to feel activation is what's going to help us intentionally decide what emotional frequency we're carrying forward into the rest of our day, every single day. And ooh, my loves, I cannot wait to get into that one. If you actually want to practice this every single day, you want to practice what we talked about today, you can grab your own Gratitude is Yummy premium physical journal at gratitudebabe.com. The digital journal is also there for you to download if you'd like. The entire journal is built around this beautiful method: gratitude, scripting to feel activation, intentional action, and reflection. So you're not just reading about manifestation, you're not just hearing me talk about it, you're practicing it with us every single day. Okay. And if this beautiful episode resonated with you, my loves, make sure you like this video. Make sure you hype it up so other gratitude babes can get this message. Make sure you subscribe to this frequency, because I do feel like we're building some magic here, and I love seeing beautiful souls join this frequency. And leave me a comment. Tell us, what are you scripting into your reality right now? I would love to know. All right, my loves, thank you so much for floating with me today on this yummy frequency of gratitude and scripting and manifestation. Until next time, my beautiful babes, keep finding something to be grateful for every single day. Keep writing your beautiful, beautiful dream life, and keep making life feel really, really, really yummy. I love you all so, so, so much, and I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And I'm so grateful to have you with me. Ciao for now. I can't speak. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.